all new. AM1150 WTMP.com.
But let's go ahead and get the show started, and then I can talk about Joe Biden and talk about all the stuff that's going on in D.C.
He doesn't remember 27 years
and
ago.
all the
Unless he
stuff
remembers
that's happening
yesterday.
here. Well, they got pictures, so that's the thing about it.
But he doesn't remember. That wasn't him.
Well, like I say, they got pictures. So anyway, call in number if you want to call in during the show. That means
2-minute limit to all.
That means you want to be on the show. You want to talk about something that we said, or something we should have said, or something that you just want to add to show how smart you are. All that stuff.
Look out, Eddie.
all that stuff is happening here on Porch Talk Radio. The call-in number 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. We already got a call, but we'll wait till we get the show started.
Yeah, 2-minute limit for all. Thank you for calling.
Before we take the call. Okay, if you want to call me, Eddie Adams Jr., during the show, you got to call the other number. This is my cell phone number, so call me after the show if you want to talk to me and talk about something that you got up, or something hot, or something burning your pants, or something like that.
Hey, you can get a shot for that.
I'm just saying. 813-212. And folks do use that number. They call me all the time. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's a bunch of folks that call.
But he does have caller ID. He doesn't always take my calls.
Well, see, I can't see unless you call and I put you in my phone. You're not in my phone. So numbers show up or unknown show up. Anyway,
I paid that bill.
For folks who want to contact us by email, then Eddie EDDIE at porchtalkradio.com. All right, let's get this show off. Let's get it started. And Facebook, we're on Facebook Live. So
now.
So as soon as we got started last week, we was upside down. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. We kind of new to this thing. We've been around 10 years, but we kind of keep up with the technology.
We knew, but we old. We recycled.
We kind of keep up with the technology. So anyway, we got a caller already. So before the show got started, before I gave you anything to complain about, somebody's already called. So welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. This is Sally Lee of the Volunteer Missionary Society, Penny Fund.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just like to say, I'm not a Republican or anything, but I can say about Mr. Trump that he do listen to me, and I've been telling him since last year about all the troubles and problems and how the money doesn't get to the neighborhood and that we needed direct service. And he almost did everything I asked of him. And
Hallelujah.
he sent the money. It is up to the local people to make sure it gets to who need it. And I really admire that he's trying to do the right thing. And it's up to the local leaders to do the right thing, too, with the money once it's sent to them, and make sure everybody gets served. I really appreciate his contact with me and listen to me and the unemployment. I called the senators and emailed them 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning and told them what was happening to the people. And tutoring and praying is my next 2 tasks. And I'm on my job for me and my people and small businesses. And I stand and I get on my knees and I pray daily that God will bring us through this.
Thank you.
And thank you.
All right.
That is awesome, and that lady is sharp, because she has a point, Eddie.
Right. Well. Let me say this. The federal government now. I want you to folks, imagine what $1 trillion look like. $1 trillion is 1 with 12 zeros. Visualize that. Or write it down. That's an awful lot of money.
Would that go from to California?
And the problem with the system, the way the system is set up, they disperse the money to the states. So you got $2 trillion, to 50 states, and then the states disperse it to the counties, and then the counties disperse it to the city, and at the end of the game, the city decides how much of it ends up in the different communities. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you live in Tampa, South Tampa get the most, South Tampa get the pick, South Tampa get everything because those folks actually vote. If you understand, like I say, we're trying to give you politics 101, how government works. The fact that the money comes down, Trump can say, I want to give $50 trillion away. At the end of the day, the money don't come direct, unless you got your $1,200 check. That came directly from the federal government.
With his name on it.
So that came from the federal government. So yeah, if you got that, but all the rest of that money, it comes either through the banks, commercially, the big banks, and how the big banks got control of it, I don't understand. Because if you actually really want to get money to the little people, to the real community, you have to distribute that money to the small banks, in the small community. Because at the end of the day, the big bank's gonna take their cut. So that's like, okay, I got $1 I want to give to you, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give $75 to the damn bank, and you will get 25 cents out of that dollar. That's usually the way it works. Because by the time they get their cut for this and service for that, and fee for this and fee for that, and it's not just started, during this pandemic.
No, it's been going on forever.
It's always been like that. So for every dollar that the federal government issues to solve a problem, to help comfort you, put you in a better situation, the industry is set up so that they keep their cut. So every dollar that passes through their hand, they keep a couple pennies, a quarter.
Oh, because they got their own pet projects.
Yeah,
we know.
So that's how it's set up. So if the federal government would have gave the money directly to some small banks who have a record of lending to small businesses, then we would not have had that money. But again, at the end of the day, we understand how Washington works. That's one of the reasons Trump trying to get rid of the swamp monsters and the riffraff.
Speaking of that, New York, we know, New York City was $6.1 billion in the hole before this coronavirus came about, COVID-19. So we understand, as Eddie just explained, once that money filters down, they're trying to take care of the past debts. And we know that some of those past debts included $750 million was given to a solar company to provide solar panels. It went bankrupt within a year. Selling the money disappeared. They had another $800 billion given to another Green New Deal situation company that it folded within a year, and that money suddenly disappeared. So, folks, this is why it's not, if you don't keep after these politicians, I'm not saying necessarily with a chair and a whip, but you got to do what you got to do to keep them in line. And if they ain't going to listen, and if they ain't going to provide that money down into the communities, it's time to get rid of them.
Well, again, like I was saying, West Tampa and East Tampa, at the end of the day, are the stepchildren.
Yeah.
To South
Tampa. But they got better water runoff than South Tampa.
No, they got water, but it's still the people in South Tampa control everything in Hillsborough County.
Sure.
I'm a political realist. I understand how it works, and those folks, even though they got their own CRA and they got their own this, their own that, at the end of the day, when they elect people to sit on the county commission, those guys control the whole county. They control the county and they control the city. And most of those people get elected by what's happening and what's the fever, what's the temperature of those folks down in South Tampa. And they know that and they understand that. Now what we got to do is we got to figure out, and now I'm talking to black folks. I have to differentiate sometimes so folks understand what the message needs to be. We should have used this time to come up with a plan so when this is all over, we ain't stepchildren, we ain't the redheaded, even though we black folk, redheaded stepchild. We're not going to continue to get treated like we was treated before this happened. But if we don't get together, come up with a plan to make our lives better, not just keep depending upon somebody else to do for us and make us better, somebody to give us stuff. I mean, we control what happened in our community. The fact that if somebody hadn't said anything, the county and the white folks that run stuff did not somehow believe that all the black folks in Hillsborough County, they needed at least one spot where they can give COVID-19 testing. Now we got Lee Davis because people start complaining. Okay, you ain't got nowhere in the black community where you can get tested. Well, because folks complain, We now got Lee Davis. All right, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. What say you on this Saturday afternoon? Where you calling from? And God bless you. Come in. Hello?
Okay, this is Adam from Tampa.
Adam, give us some more phony numbers.
Why is it phony numbers?
Go ahead,
Adam. Go ahead.
I'm calling to agree with you because you were talking about in New York State about the deficit and how about holding the politicians accountable. And, you know, in New York City, they have Democratic-led. So let's look at something close to home, Florida. Florida is Republican-led legislature, has a governor, Republican governor for the last, 20 years?
No.
Now,
you forgot Lawrence Charles. Lawrence Charles ain't been dead that long.
Yeah, I can name the last 3 governors we have.
I just gave you Lawrence Charles, the last Democratic governor.
No, I'm not saying last Democratic, but I'm saying for the last 20 years, about so that we've had Republicans as the...
okay, I got it. Come on.
Make your point.
Seat. You had Jeb Bush, Charlie Crist, Rick Scott. How many years is that?
Okay,
Too long.
Make your point.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to bring facts, sir. That's all. But anyway, you said, I'm agreeing with Gabriel, he said holding the politicians accountable. Who can we blame? Can we blame Rick Scott?
Okay, now let me go ahead and interject here before you get too far afield. Every election cycle, somebody wins and somebody loses. You know that's what the system is set upon. Now, at some point in time, kind of like you guys got for president, you've been fussing and fighting with each other for 12 months, 16 months, and you end up with Joe Biden. When Joe Biden get his butt whooped in November, whose fault is that? See, again, at the end of the day, you're gonna have somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose, and the people are never wrong. I'm gonna say that. The host before me said the same thing. You cannot talk to me because I got the mic and I got the control. So again, at the end of the day, you know, the people are never wrong. If you think they're wrong, it's because everybody who makes a suggestion or everybody has an idea bring their own particular baggage to that final process. Yeah. So I think differently than you. You think different than a lot of people. Black folks think differently than white folks. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into that. So at the end of the day, everybody measures the final results by how they think it affects them.
Right.
And if that agrees with a lot of people, then you're happy. If it disagrees, then you're sad until the next election. That's kind of how this system is made. And black folks have been on the bottom side of this because at the end of the day, we have been loyal to a party that absolutely takes us for granted. So again, you know, that's probably one of the reasons why I'm a Republican. But again, I'm not saying the Republicans are doing any better. I'm just saying that there's opportunities, you know, for us making things better. And we haven't blindly supported the Republican Party, but at the end of the day, you know, things are happening within the country that's going to be better for black folks now than have been probably in the last 20 years, like Gabriel was saying. No. So you and a lot of folks may not like the way things have done, but there since you can't win the slot, you can't take it. See, that's the thing about this country. Military strength. You can't get a military and say, well, we know we're better, we're going to take it. No, you got to win it through the ballot box. When that happens, things will change. So, again, that's why I encourage black folks, you know, to go to the polls and vote. Decide. Come up with a plan. Come up with some ideas. See, we falter because as a community, we don't get our act together. We don't get our stuff together. If we ever stop fussing and fighting with each other long enough, to sit down and put our heads together, because we got some brilliant people.
Yes, you
we
do.
Come up with some ideas, come up with some plans, and they can't hold you back because they can't take knowledge away from you. Once you got knowledge, you can give it up or you cannot use it, but they can't take it from you.
No.
And that's the important part.
Now, Adam and I are in agreement with each other right now. This is our first. We are in agreement because Charlie Crist was a terrible Republican, a great Democrat that wouldn't change parties, and did a lot of not good things for many industries in the state of Florida.
Charlie Crist has been both.
Yeah, so he's been by. Oh, I didn't want to go that way.
Repeatedly.
I didn't mean by, but that's another issue. But I'm just saying in general, so Adam and I are in agreement on that one because he was terrible. He was a terrible conservative because he wasn't. Jeb Bush, he straddled the fence on a lot of issues. He did some good. Boy, some stuff the conservatives didn't like that he did. So yeah, Adam was right. And keeping these politicians accountable is a big deal.
Okay, we got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio.
Thank you, Adam.
This Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Hey, this is Al. Hey, look, so the last caller made an interesting point, and y'all just blew past it. You're right. It's been 20 years. He's right. It's been 20 years since there was a Democrat, and that was Lawton Child. Whatever you think of Lawton Child, it's been 20 years ago. But in that 20 years, all right, this whole unemployment situation, $77 million plus, was spent. All that was done under Republican administration. The DEO was reorganized. That used to be the Office of Tourism, Trade, and Economic Development. It was reorganized to Department of Economic Opportunity. Unemployment and everything was moved under it. All that happened under a Republican-led governorship and predominantly a Republican-led legislature. And it has been an absolute dismal failure.
Right, wrong. Let me interject. Okay. Let me interject because before you go too far, because I remember not 3 months ago everybody talking about this is the best economy. More black folks are working in the history of the country and this and that. So that was 3 months ago. That was 3 months ago.
I said unemployment. Okay.
Well, again, unemployment was at 2%. Unemployment 2%. I mean, 98% of the folks was employed, including black folks.
That
Yes.
was then. I said now. Okay. Look. Leaders are also judged not just by the good things they do, but by the things that they do when there are problems. Okay.
Yes.
And so what I'm telling you is, I don't even lay that totally at DeSantis' feet. Of course, they fired Ken or moved him out of the way. And it wasn't necessarily Ken's fault, but so be it. I mean, he's real passive anyway. Bottom line is, it happened under Republican administration. That system failed. They had a private company. They spent all of that money with that private company. It goes way back to even the guy before that Jesse Panuccio guy. Okay?
Yeah.
So the CEO has been a dismal failure for years. They've known it, and they still continue to prop it up.
But
those things they have to accept, and what they need to do is fix it.
But what you got to take in consideration in all the stuff that you're saying, and again, you're bringing some good points to the table.
Absolutely.
And this is not an argument. This is more of a discussion. What we have to do is when we have good times, we have to take advantage of them. But what we did not do is during the time when things were good, when we had more black folks working than any other time in the history of the country, you people, and I'm saying you people, I didn't hear one mumbling word as a good friend of mine was saying, I didn't hear one mumbling word about how the Republicans had made things good. You were still talking about how bad they were. And again, at some point in time, you can't always say bad stuff. You got to remember some of the good stuff. Yeah. And if all you're going to notice is the bad stuff, then when the good stuff come around, you're going to, folks going to take it for granted that it don't matter whether it's good or bad, you can always say the same thing. And that's when you start getting taken for granted. When folks know, no matter what it is, whether it's good or bad, that you're not going to be involved in the process.
And Eddie, these two callers had very good points.
Yes.
In that we have a bad system. The Republicans have continued it. They have had no changes in it. And now it blew up because suddenly we got, hundreds of thousands of people applying at the same time, and it's crashing every other day, it seems like.
Yeah.
So the fact that there is a problem, it has existed, it has continued to exist, we finally need to say, hey, let's fix this.
But see the issue is, and this is what they fail to realize, is unless you prove to the people that you're going to do better, then you continue to lose elections. So you're losing elections because the people of the state of Florida don't have faith and confidence in the people you keep sending up, to run for governor, and people you keep sending up to run, for attorney general, for the people you keep sending up to run for these offices. And like somebody said before, like I said in a previous show, the people aren't wrong. You didn't sell your idea. Either your idea wasn't good enough, or you thought you were more than what you were. And at some point in time, if you can't relay that to the people, then you're gonna keep losing the election. I'm sorry. You may have done a better job, but you didn't because you wasn't there to do it. That's the history of the country. That's history of the county, history of the state. If you're not there, you sit at home quarterbacking Monday morning, saying, "Oh, I would have threw that pass, I'd have caught that pass, I'd have run that ball." Well, that's all good after the fight. We're in it and we're dealing with it now.
So maybe some of the people listening, maybe we might have that one person in the listening audience that might say, you know what, maybe I can do something about this. Maybe I can get myself elected somehow. Maybe I can get into that system somehow and fix it. And folks, this is how it happens. Everybody starts bringing it out to everyone's attention. We have a problem with the system, and all the past governors have just allowed it to continue, and legislatures, and now that it's all completely blowed up, now everybody's pointing fingers at everybody. Well, unless change happens from people getting involved saying, we need to fix this, who do we need to talk to, folks, we're going to keep getting the same old, same old. Now, obviously, DeSantis has done many great things for this state. Nothing is perfect, obviously. It is a bureaucracy that he is in charge of. I do not know how many employees are in the state that he oversees that run all these different systems. And obviously, the unemployment is not working. The small business website was having issues as well.
But even though the website may not be working well, when none of these systems were set up for crises. They were set up for normal, everyday functioning, operating. When you go into crisis mode, everything's different. That's why the Democratic motto is never let a crisis go to waste. All right. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. We're on Facebook Live. We got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. We got it going on, and thank you for calling. Who are you, where you calling from, and what say you?
Okay, this is Brother Willie G. Dixon from Tampa, Florida for 88 years. I've been in Tampa, Florida.
88 years.
And I want to congratulate you and your calls. Now, I have 2 ears, but I can't hear but one person talking at a time. Y'all I have a problem when both of you talk at the same time. But now, what I want to bring to your attention, in my hand, I'm holding a book, Unsound Loyalty by Dr. Reverend Wayne Perryman. I'm sure you're familiar with it, Eddie.
I have a box of them.
Okay, now, let me tell you this. First, I want to do a disclaimer. In this country, for 400 years, no party has been fair to black folks.
Yes, we understand.
Okay, now, I want on the back of the book for your audience who have not read this, it says, history reveals the Republican Party has a more impressive track record in civil rights legislation than the Democratic Party.
Yes.
And he also says the black church, the most powerful institution of the African American community, has a time found itself forced to compromise its Christian values to support the Democratic agenda.
That's terrible. Yes. Terrible.
And innocent blacks who have given their votes to Democrats for the past 40 years are left wondering what that party has done to remedy the still problems that we have within our community. And say, now, we need to know that they tried to come up with the Green Party and all kinds of parties. And it's not enough black people in the United States to come up with a party because we know we're outnumbered. And then, two, I would like for your audience to go to Facebook. In 2005, President George W. Bush, he said that this was coming. He didn't know when it was going to come, but we were warned about this in 2005. Why America is not prepared for this. Too many people have died and suffered because we were not prepared for this as we should have been. Now, we know that I've been on the house arrest because of this virus for a whole month. But yesterday I got a furlough to leave home for 2 hours.
Good deal.
But when I went into the black community, I saw so many young people without masks.
Right.
And they are not aware that this is a weapon. It will kill you. We need to get funding to get young people to go out in our community to talk to their peers because they don't believe they can die.
Well, Well, thank you, Reverend Dixon.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
And I'm so glad you called, because one of the things that I was gonna talk about was the fact that they were talking about the barber shops opening up, and the nail salons, and the hair shops, and all that kind of stuff. For some of them, many of them haven't ever closed. I'm sorry, I'm just saying, I'm not letting the cat out the bag.
You're right.
Y'all know that, I got a haircut 2 weeks ago in the middle of this whole Corona thing. And folks were getting their hair done, folks were getting their nail done. And them little Oriental ladies who work in those nail shops, they wear those masks and stuff anyway. They've been wearing those masks for years. So I'm just saying, this is nothing new. And what he said in 2005, but if you go back to 1400, Nostradamus predicted that this was going to happen. So we've been foretold many a time that something like this was going to happen. All right, gotta go, because again, and Reverend Dixon is one of the good guys.
He's covers a lot of bases there.
He's been around for a while, and this is one of those kind of shows where we can kind of talk about a lot of stuff that's going on in the community. And like I said, at some point in time, this community needs to get its act together. The people we elect somebody, then we complain about them. We complain to them.
But you don't get rid of them.
And then we complain to others. That water carrying pod is the whole community. At some point in time, we have to support our own black businesses.
Absolutely.
If we don't support our black businesses, they go under. Black businesses are going under now at a record, alarming
minorities,
rate.
All minorities, Hispanic too.
At the end of the day, it's about us in the community supporting those folks. Because if they got to depend upon white folks to come down to the hood to make the black businesses successful, it ain't gonna never happen. So I mean, that's plus, that's like a cherry on the top if we get some white folks to come down and do business with black folks. But at the end of the day, that support got to come from the community. At some time, you guys got to wake up and realize that we make black businesses possible and we make them prosper. And until we realize and start doing that, it's not going to happen.
Because everybody looks at the big picture right now with this COVID-19. It's actually had 69,000, I think, dead that I saw as of this morning. 69,000, which the flu was obviously more than that. So you kind of begin to wonder, why is it that people can go to Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, they're not pulling the bodies out of those places, but yet they can't go into small business, which is usually a smaller amount of floor space. But it's okay to go to those other ones. They're considered essential, but small business is not. Why is that, folks? Think about that.
Well, again, is this coronavirus? I've been reading. I've had time to do some stuff, and part of it is, there's like 4 sides to the coronavirus thing. There's was it invented, created in Wuhan, China? Did Bill Gates do it? Did some folks in the federal lab at the CDC do it? But no matter where it came from, it is currently here. Now, what if you look at the numbers, the folks who are actually dead and dying, the recovery rate for the coronavirus is 98%. That means 98% of the folks who get it survive. Any other disease, that would be a phenomenal success. We have shut the whole country down for something that has your living day to day. They got 2% of the people die in car accident, heart disease, trip and fall, get shot with a nail gun. If you're in Chicago, it's even higher than that because you get shot with a real gun.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's some stuff that's going on every day that has a 2% rate of you living and dying.
So, Eddie, right now...
so this ain't special.
And our caller just brought up the point of the mask, is if you already have it, you don't want to spread it. The Surgeon General came out yesterday morning and said the same thing. If you have it, then fine, you got the symptoms of it, put the mask on so you don't share it. Right. You don't want to share that. But if you don't have it, then you don't need a mask. In fact, he said, don't wear the mask unless you have the symptoms yourself. So if that's the case, folks, we're all being told we have to have these masks, and I see some awfully cute ones out there right now, but yet the bottom line is that we're all waiting for a vaccine, and a few Democratic governors have said once we get the vaccine, we'll all be safe. But Eddie, how many viruses exist?
Well, they got millions of viruses.
Okay, so right now, COVID is the virus of the month, folks.
Millions of deadly viruses.
And then next month could be another one.
And
so, but how many vaccines, Eddie? Because you got a little history. How many vaccines do we have for viruses?
Well, see, the thing about a vaccine is heat-killed virus cells. So they take some virus cells, they kill them, they put them in a mixture of other things. Sometimes it's sugar, sometimes placebos, and they give them to you, and then your body say, "Oh yeah, I can recognize this." And next time you get it, it's prepared to fight it. That's how a virus works. But when they give you the virus, sometimes you react to the virus in the vaccine. That's why a lot of people are afraid to take the vaccine. A lot of people say, "I don't care if they come with a vaccine tomorrow. I ain't taking it." I personally has never taken a flu vaccine. I have never had the flu. So why would I take a vaccine for something that I've never had? Now, if I get the flu every year, there's some people get the flu every year.
Eddie,
well, some people take the virus.
You're not being PC. You're not being politically correct.
I understand.
Again.
That's what I'm
now,
saying.
I have not had the flu. I have not had the flu shot either.
Yeah.
Neither have my kids. They're now grown adults, and they are raising their children.
So nobody in the studio has had the
So
flu
right
vaccine.
now, let's keep thinking this through, folks. So we're all hiding from a virus. We're hiding, which is actually prolonging.
Waiting on a vaccine.
Yeah, waiting on a vaccine. And then once we get the vaccine, Eddie, what's in the vaccine?
The
virus.
The virus
So
is in there.
think about that, folks. If you just have half a brain working this moment to go, I'm busy hiding for something that they're going to have in a vaccine, that after I've waited all these months, maybe lost my business, then I go get a shot for it.
I guarantee
that's retardation.
When they get the vaccine, the death rate from the vaccine is going to be more than 2%.
Well,
I'm going to tell you that now.
And with that said, Eddie, Bill Gates is on tape saying that the vaccines he is promoting has a 15 to 20% death rate.
Yep.
And people can't wait to get it. You go right on ahead.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. History is constantly repeating itself. And if you don't learn from your past, you're destined,
Eddie, we're smart now, remember?
Destined to repeat it. And I posted something on my Facebook page about, they were telling the folks in Germany, they were telling the Jewish folks that we're going to transport you for your own safety. We're going to take you somewhere where you're going to be safe. And at the end of the process, you get to take a shower. So they didn't understand, what it was all about. They was talking in the code. And that's what I tell folks in the black community. Folks always talking in code about us, and they understand it. We don't get it. At some point in time, black folks gonna wake up, and I tried to tell y'all this before.
Prayerfully not too late for minorities, period.
When I was talking about trying to get a black bank here, trying to get some institution. I mean, we don't have none of the utilities. Black folks in this country pretty much owns no. That's why they was able to poison all those black folks in Flint, Michigan. Kept saying, "Oh, the water's good. There's nothing wrong with the water."
Commissioners control that.
I'm just telling you. They kept telling you.
All Democratic commissioners.
I'm just telling you. At the end of the day,
that's
why they was able to kill and poison, 3 generations of black folks, because they kept saying, "Well, the water is green for a reason. The water is orange. The water is brown. It's not clear. It's everything but clear, but it's safe to drink." And again, at the end of the day, you got to use your own common sense. And education is the key. We got to be smart people. We are very smart people. History proves that. It's just that usually by the time we start using it and we start listening to folks who know and understand what's going on, it's always late. It's always too late.
And folks, and again, we've already had conversations here, call-ins about holding the politicians responsible. And like in that Flint, Michigan situation that Eddie just called out, I'm 99% sure none of those commissioners that were in charge of that the whole time didn't serve any time. They just probably just did get elected, maybe, or they probably went on to serve another time, another term to say that, well, we need to continue working it. If you look right now in the political field, between Joe Biden's got 44 years in the system right now.
He's got 44 years and 9 rapes.
Yeah.
9 personal folks who come back and say they've been sexually assaulted.
You're not being PC.
By Joe Biden.
You're not being politically correct. And then we've got Nancy Pelosi's been there 38. We got Schumer's been there about 34 years. Combine all those years together, and those politicians haven't been able to do squat.
But look at their district. That's how you tell.
Their
Look
district
at how their
looks
district
worse
Yeah.
than any drug-laden district there in Detroit right now.
Yeah.
And they're there to help you.
They may be killing folks in Detroit, but they ain't defecating on the street. I'm just saying.
Well, that's Nancy Pelosi's area. So it's an understanding, folks, holding these politicians accountable. You ain't helping your people, and the fact that now they might actually have a few good people to try and run against some of these bad politicians. And if you can find Republicans out there doing just as bad, please get rid of them. They're not helping the people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, the guy that came on before me had some good comments about, you know, the people. And sometimes those decisions that the people make, you got to take in consideration. You got blacks, white, Mexican, Jews, you know, Asians, you know, everybody in this country. This is the ultimate mixing pot. And all those folks go and they get to vote on two people. Most of the time, most of these elections for governors, you know, for senators, you know, for presidents, and all those elected slots. At the end of the day, you usually end up a Democrat or Republican, or a Democrat or Republican and independent. The independent never wins. So for the most part,
Libertarians don't either.
You know, for the most part, look at what it
Green
is.
Party never.
And so if the best candidate don't always win, you got to understand that. You know, and that is based upon your personal beliefs, because at the end of the day, it's enough diverse information, diverse thinking, diverse thought going to who you're going to vote for, and then millions of people go and vote, and when that vote is in, that person that won. And then the rest of them get to live with it for 2 years or 4 years or 6 years, how many years involved. And that's where it's at. So that's why it's important for black folks to get together and decide. Like I think, you know, Reverend Dixon mentioned, you got 4 or 5 black folks running for a slot, then one white person get in. If the white person in that district, you know, gets all the white votes and the black folks split up their votes, guess what? The white person wins. And that district that used to be black or was considered to be a black district is no longer black. That's how it's done. That's why they gentrifying a lot of these communities and gentrifying a lot of these neighborhoods. You know, they're working on you on so many different levels. It's unbelievable.
So, folks, the whole idea is don't be afraid to talk to the neighbors. Don't be afraid to join some of these campaigns. Get off the couch and get out there. And again, if you've got some politicians that are not helping your community, that's on you. The fact that they ain't doing their job, they figure you forgot them anyway. You paying your taxes, you paying their health insurance, their benefits, they got a staff, they got it good. But if they ain't taking care of you and your business and your community, fire them. You can fire them. Don't forget us on porchtalkradio.com, the website, as well as we're on live, Eddie, right now.
Facebook, yes.
On Facebook Live. Please like it and then share it. Share the good news.
Well, again, let me throw this out there. Folks in the black community, I do not make bones about who it is that I'm trying to contact, who it is I'm trying to wake up, because it's important that we elect folks we believe in, we trust in, and folks who we will follow. You know, because we got a lot of black elected officials that ain't nobody in the community, and I do mean ain't nobody in the community gonna follow no damn well. They ain't gonna follow. They ain't gonna follow them to a place
like that too, Eddie.
they could be giving away gold. They give away gold coin, and you ain't gonna follow them there. So you know you ain't gonna follow them nowhere else. We got a caller. Welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. I know we're rambling.
Bring it on.
And rolling here. So who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello.
Yes, my name is Gino. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes. Now, y'all talked about vaccines. You mean to tell me the way vaccine is made, you mean that you two have never taken a vaccine before?
I've had vaccine, but when I was a kid, I have to, you know, you couldn't get in school unless you did the mumps, the measles, and then you had to do the I had chicken pox, so I didn't have to do the vaccine. You know, and
the flu shots we're talking about.
You know, they had some diseases that you had to take it to get in school. As a child, it wasn't up to you. As an adult, you know, you got to decide. I want to take that. Do I want to ingest that poison? Like I said, if I had the flu, it'd be different. I ain't never had the flu in my life.
Either.
But I have. I had the flu. I've never had the vaccine before.
Okay.
I had the flu. Of course, I've gotten over it. Now, because I'm going to say you've never taken a vaccine before, because I'm going to say, how old are you? If you roll up your left sleeve
I'm 66.
on your left arm, you got to have that little circle on
I'm
your
the young
arm.
one.
Yeah, that was the polio. That's polio.
All right, both of you, right, and you never had polio before.
Well, again, like I say, I had no choice. They would not let you in school back in the 50s
On vaccinations.
or the 60s unless you had them.
Right. Yeah, because I have one of mine, and I'm 58. Now, another thing too is in I would say around approximately 1863, 1865, when all the slaves were freed and became Republican for about another 80 years, because they didn't start jumping ship until around 1930, somewhere right around there. Now, if Republicans were treating them so right, why did they jump ship?
Well, Democrats started giving away stuff. Remember, in '32 they had the New Deal, in which they decided they're gonna put a pot of pork and some chicken and a leg and something else that they were going on, and they started paying folks. They came up with Social Security. They started coming up with free stuff. So that's when the change started happening in 1932, when they started doing the free stuff. And the black folks started changing over because they thought the Democrats actually loved them, and they wanted them to be part of the system.
They wanted the free stuff. I don't blame them. They were hungry.
Free stuff. So blacks wanted the free stuff,
right?
But the whites would go out and steal their stuff.
Well, white folks was manipulating. That's why they were giving you stuff. You thought you were getting it for free, but you didn't know that you were
lost
paying
your
for
freedom.
it. And go ahead and make a comment because we got another caller. Hello.
Well, that was basically it. That they stayed that long. They had to jump ship for some reason, and I don't think it was because chicken and an Apollo, because Mary Mathaba Thune and Eleanor Roosevelt got together and talked most of them to jump. Because of that.
Thanks for calling, buddy. I appreciate
you. Thank you. Okay.
God bless.
Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? What say you? Hello.
Yes, my name is Idris Farouk Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
I'm giving a call out of Tampa, Florida.
Yes, sir.
And what I was interested in is in your conversation about vaccines and the gentleman's history that he just recorded, our brother, about the New Deal. The thing that brought about the New Deal is that the white citizens of North America had come to a point where they were ready to go into a position of what would be another civil war against the have versus the have-not.
Right.
And to quell that tide, they stemmed Social Security. But we were grandfathered into that New Deal. That New Deal was never designed for us. And as it regards to vaccinations, I totally respect the suspicions that any black person who's well-read would have. With just a minor example of the Tuskegee experiment, one could find themselves quite suspicious. And I would err on the side of caution with vaccines. I would allow myself to see how that process should weigh out, particularly if I'm not having any symptoms and no one in my home is exhibiting any symptoms.
We appreciate it, brother. God bless you.
Right,
awesome.
bye-bye.
That is awesome. People involved in the community doing something.
Okay.
Making it happen.
Okay. We almost missed it, but
on
this
somebody
day,
call.
I've actually heard some other stations trying to do this, but they don't. Nobody does this like
As well, or as professional.
Here on Porch Talk Radio.
That's right.
On May the 2nd, 1863, Confederate General Thomas Stonewall Jackson was wounded by his own men in the Battle of Chandlerville, Virginia. In 8 days, 8 days later, he died.
They got tired of him?
So that's what happened.
That was a mutiny.
That's what happened to Stonewall Jackson.
That was a mutiny.
All right. On May 2nd, 1865, U.S. President Andrew Johnson offered $100,000 reward for the capture of Confederate President Jefferson Davis.
That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, back then that was a ransom. That was a bounty.
That was $1 million. Somebody.
That was a real bounty. On this day, May 2nd, 1933, Hitler banned trade unions in Germany.
Huh, he was against unions.
He was against unions. He
wanted to control
folks talking and planning.
Mm.
And on this day, last but not least, May 2nd, 1941, the Federal Communication Commission, that's the FCC, agreed to let regular scheduling of TV broadcasts by commercial TV stations begin on July 1st, 1941. This was the start of network TV. Started this day.
Back in the day.
Back in 1941.
That's when they had the Peacock. Remember when the Peacock used to come out on the TV?
Yep.
At the end of the day.
And for those who are forgetting, you know, I figure it's our place, if to remind you if nothing else, is that next year they will have a Super Bowl here in Tampa. It will be number Super Bowl 55. So it's going to be important that you folks get your act together, get your stuff together. And there's a lot of black businesses out there who did not have any way, any means. While you got some time at home, think, get your thoughts together,
Absolutely.
Get some plans together. You know, come up with something.
Make it happen.
You know, because right now you got some wasted empty time. You know, figure out something that you can do, you and your kids can do. You know, you and your family members, or you and folks in your community can do that you can put something together for next year. So when all them guests come from all over the world to Tampa Bay,
Airbnb.
You can take advantage of it.
Rent your house out, go camping.
So I am sorry. I
make some bucks.
You know, a couple people tried to call during the show, but like I said at the beginning of the show, it's hard to talk, you know, to somebody on the phone and then still do the radio show. And once I start this 1 hour during the show, it's hard. You know, I can look at a text, so if you text me, I may get a chance to look at it. You know, but I definitely can't talk on the phone because I can't do.
Because we're busy.
You know, and
we are committed. Maybe we should be committed.
And at the end of this whole process, you know, we only have 1 hour in which to get the message across.
We got a lot to cover, you lady.
And Joe Biden and those 9 or 10 women. See, it's again, even though they treating Joe at this point in time like a black candidate, you know, because usually when you running for president or something high like that and you're black, you know, them white women start showing up everywhere. I'm just saying.
Kryptonite.
Yeah, that's kryptonite for black folks. So I'm surprised that they're doing Joe like this, but the fact that they are, you know, all them folks,
throwaway candidate,
all them folks showing up, and I'm telling you, the more they talk about it, the more people keep showing up. So I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. I on my Facebook page will post for the next week all the different pictures I see of Joe Biden touching little children, touching little girls, blowing on folks' hair, kissing them on the neck, you know, holding them by the chest, holding them by the waist. I'm just saying, it's a bunch of pictures out there. So I know a lot of folks don't believe it, so I'm just start posting them. So it'll be out there.
They've got several pictures of his granddaughter, and they show her moving along in age, anywhere from like 14 up, always being on stage with him, and then giving him a big kiss on the lips each time. And that's kind of creepy.
That's your relative, but they got another 14.
That's creepy.
They got a 14-year-old that accused him of sexual assaulting her also. So again, you know, I'm just saying, you know, I'm gonna post them because they keep coming to my page, so I'm gonna post them so everybody get a chance to see all those photos of Joe Biden touching people.
Now, folks, before y'all go too crazy on it, say, well, why y'all picking on the Democrat? Well, remember, there was 700 false stories ran on Brett Kavanaugh about sexual assault with all these women.
And everybody
believe the woman was brought out of that, and that was just whatever they said was to be true. And now, after the fact, we've discovered they were all lies.
Yep.
All these women have disappeared. They've even confessed, yeah, somebody told me to come and hang out.
Testify before Congress.
Yeah, and just all lies. That was 700 separate, different accounts on the lies. But yet, when Biden actually we got people who have proof.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that didn't really happen.
We don't have...
Me too, just not with Biden.
We don't have any blue dresses. But anyway, until next week, the same bat time, same bat station.
Y'all come on back, folks.
We love you, Tampa Bay. See you.
God bless America.
Bye-bye.